Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, back for another crafty video. So, first of all, hope you've had a nice season, festive season. If you celebrate Christmas, then I hope you enjoyed it and you didn't have any arguments with your family. And if you did, it's not, like the end of the will. So, anyway, so let's get on. So, today I'm going to be, well, I've already started, but from today going forwards, I'm going to be doing a new project that will kind of come and go. I think I'm going to start doing my art journal a bit more as well, because that really helped me therapy wise. And there's going to be some other new projects, going to be some more boxes coming, all sorts of things. So 2024, there'll be more for 2024. So this is something that I've come up with. I was literally lying in bed last night. I woke up quite early and I'd been thinking about it before I went to sleep. Then I was thinking about it, trying to conceptualize it in my head. And then today, Wooster hasn't been feeling very well today, so I've been spending a lot of time with him. But I've come upstairs, he's sleeping now, so I've come upstairs and I've come and started this. So I'm going to be doing like a field journal style journal, but I'm going to be doing it like more of a traveler's notebook style. So it's going to be a long, thin one like this. Okay. So I usually do a field notebook at like January sort of time, but I'm kind of bucking the trend and doing it slightly differently. So this one is an interlocking one. So there'll be a journal here, so we're going to put a journal in there, and then there's a journal here, so we'll put a journal in there, and then there's one here, and we're going to do the fourth one, and that's because we're going to have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, brown for winter. But the thing about it is they are interlocking in that they all slide out from each other. So it can be one journal on its own, or you could take these two apart. You could have each individual journal. So you have one, an alternate, so the brown one will be like this one, okay? Or you can have it so that it opens the opposite direction, depending on how you feel. So what they all have, they're all made in the same way, so they can all go in a different order if you prefer. And what it is you take one, so this one, and the other one slots in, so the front of this is the opposite way around, so the front of this cover slots into the back of the other one, like that. Yeah. And then you'll see on the back here there's one that this one will now sit in, and you do it alternate direction, so you always have this bit on the back, and that goes in there, like that. So then we've got that alternate way again. So you can keep it as one whole thing, or you can have it as four separate things. The other thing is you could indeed. Take this one. I'll take this one out because it's easier. Take this one out. You could have them so that they're all facing the same direction. So they all slot on like that. Okay, so they all sat. Let's just take that one out and show you. So they could all sit so that they all face the same way. The only reason I didn't do it like that is because it will like kind of curve around itself. Okay. So they would all kind of sit, well, I suppose when they gape out, they can sit like that. But I wanted it alternate, so I left it like that. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you how I made that. So I'm going to make the final one. All I used was a piece of large enough card, and because I've got loads of file folders, I thought let's use file folders, and they really fit well with my utilitarian. All of these will be aged up to look older, but you have to start at the very beginning because it's a good place to start. Stop singing Julie Andrews already, Dave. So start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Right, okay. So as with any other project I do when I use a file folder, I'm just going to cut these gussety bits off, just to start with. I'll get rid of those ones because they're only half gussets. They're not a full gusset. I'll turn it around and take the other one off. And I'll tell you how big mine is, but remember, I'm going to be using A4 sheets of paper as my journal pieces. So inside we'll have an A4 sheet of paper folded this way. Okay, and this is just a piece of my Christmas digital, but folded over just so that I could work out the size that I needed, and they're all going to be long like this. So you'd make it to whatever size your paper is. So if you use US letter, I can't remember what size US letter is because we don't use it in the UK. So because it's US letter and not, let me just take this apart because I want to put it back the way it was. So yeah. So although I'll give you the measurements of this one that I'm making, your, as Nick the Booksmith would say, your mileage may vary, because it depends on what size paper you're using. So the reason why this one is slightly different on the front here is because the cardboard is particularly thin, and I needed it to be a bit more rigid so that when you put this in here, it doesn't buckle on itself, it slots it in. There you go. So then what we're going to do is we're going to make this one. Okay, so because this was a file folder, I took advantage of this crease here. So on the bottom of a file folder, they have this gusset where you can see a slight shadow of a line where it would bend if you put some paper in it. So we're just going to take advantage of that and bend that. Now, if you're not using a file folder, this gusset measures 1/2 inch, and I'll show you what I would do if you didn't have that. So I'm just going to do that again and make sure we get a nice line. And I'm going to bend that one as well. I'm just going to bend them all the same way for the time being. It should bend on that crease. Yeah, so it did. Okay, so I'm going to ignore this side of it for the time being, and I'm going to concentrate on this. So before I cut it down to size, I got this bit right first. So what I did was, I've got two here, and what I've done is I've strengthened the spine by folding it back on itself, and that's because I know that I'm going to sew signatures to this, and therefore I want it to be a bit more robust because I don't want the holes ripping as soon as I put holes big enough for my waxed thread in. Sorry, Dave speaking. Dave speaking, not speaking very well. Okay, so that's going to be my cover, okay, and then this is going to be my spine. So it's going to fold over onto itself. So we need a third one of these putting in. So all I did was I measured. So if you weren't using a file folder, you would measure. You'd leave a big enough space at the front. So the front of my page is 4 3/4 measurement. So this measures just short of 5. So I'm going to cut that bit down in a minute. But you would measure in. I'd go 5 first, and then you can always trim the edge off. Go in 5, do a score line at 5, do a score line at 5.5, do a score line at 6, and do a score line at 6.5. Okay, but because I've already got 3 score lines here, I'm putting another one in. So I'm going to go from here. So I'm just going to butt my ruler up against this crease because my ruler goes all the way to the end. So my measurement goes all the way to the end. Some rulers don't. Some rulers have a bit of a distance at the end. Let me just show you. And you have to take that into account. So this is one of my rulers that I've made into a decal edge. See how this one doesn't start right at the edge? So I wouldn't be measuring from the butt of the ruler, I'd be measuring from the line. Okay, so just so you're aware. So the camera angle may have moved slightly, and that's because I had a slight incident where the phone fell on me. So anyway, that's the reason why there was a cut in it. So let's measure these. So I'm going from the butt of my ruler on that creased fold line, and I'm going to measure half. I always do 3 measurements, and then you're more likely to get it accurate. Three, and then join those 3 up. So you could put a pencil line in and then score it, but I'm just going to go in with a score. So he shoots, he scores. So I'm just going to do it with this. It went a little bit wrong under that ruler, but never mind. I'm going to fully score the whole of the piece of cardboard. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold that line now. Again, fold it all the same way for the time being. Not worried about which way it's going. Once you get the fold in, you can change the direction you want it. But I'm going to put that fold in first. Okay, so now we've got that fold in. We've got our 3 lines, which means we'll concertina them back on each other and create a stronger thing. Now we can cut it down. We put all of that in place. I feel confident about cutting it down. The problem is I've done it where I've folded it, the folder's gone wrong, I'd already cut it, then that meant I had to start all over again. So I don't cut it now until I know that I've got it right. So just a bit of advice. So I know I'm not going to be able to use these bits here because I don't want to divot in. So I kind of just go in a little bit from the end and mark the end of my ruler first, the butt of my ruler. So I'll cut from this line and cut that bit off that way, and then I come down from that there and I go down to here and I mark the 12. Remember, I want this to be 12 3/4, but you would have whatever you desire. But the principle would be the same if you want it to kind of interlock into each other. And then I'm going to cut on this line, okay? So the way that I went through that is I kind of folded it back on itself like that, and then I got my trimmer and I kind of folded it round on itself. And my trimmer is 12 inches, so it doesn't fit with it all and unraveled. So it kind of, and then you put it in like this, and it doesn't actually. So we know that's a straight edge at the top. Find that pencil mark. Oh gosh, that was perfect, Dave. What is going on? So it won't cut all the way through. First time, it probably won't even do it. Even if we keep going backwards. Oh, actually, there you go. Not too bad. I'm just going to tear that bit off. I'll just do that bit again. Just get rid of that bit. Okay, so there, that's that one. And then we're going to find our other one. Oh, that's that end. I'm just making sure I cut the right end off. And then over on here, put that on that pencil line. Put that fold up against that top bit, make it a right angle, and cut that bit down. Take this bit off, as much as comes off, tear that away, and just do that last bit. There we go, cool. I'll get rid of my rubbish as we go. So I'll just put that to one side. So this is the side where we've got our 3 gusset lines now. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is the right dimension. So just because if you glue your spine down and then you start trying to cut, you're trying to cut through 3 layers of cardboard if you've already glued your spine. So I try and get all my measurements right first. So we know that we want this to be, let's do it this way around, it's easier. So if you lift that crease up, and you put your, if you've got a ruler that goes all the way to the end, put your ruler up to the crease, you can then get that perfect. So it's actually, when I said 4 3/4, it's not, it's whatever these are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 5/8 is where I need it. I knew which line it was, I just couldn't remember what the measurement was for it. Remember, I'm doing this in inches when I normally work in centimetres. So not knowing all of the lingo is perfectly fine. It's like learning another language, you know, as long as you can bluff your way through without having to shout at people, you're absolutely fine. So it's a bit of an in-joke, the shouting at people thing. Brits, and not just Brits, but Westerners generally do seem to think that the way they can make people understand if they don't speak the same language is talk slower and shout. That doesn't help. So there we go. Cool. So that, now that's the right dimensions there. Okay, this back panel is also going to be the same size as the front cover, which is 4 and whatever they are, 5/8. Memory of a goldfish. 4 5/8. So again, butting up to that final crease. So the first crease for the front cover, the final crease for the back cover. So we're going to go 4 5/8. Again, put it up to that crease. 4 5/8. And the top one again. Put it up. 1 5/8, and then we're going to cut that down there. Oop. Here's my scalpel. I'm trying to cut the end of my thumb off. Keep my thumb this side of this side, not this side, otherwise I'm going to cut my thumb off. Okay, so that's going to be our cover, and now what we need to do is we need to create that spine. So the way that I've had it, the way that I've done all the others, is that this fold, so if you think this is the front cover, this first fold is going to fold, if you're looking at the inside of it, first fold is going to be a valley fold. The second fold is also a valley fold, which seems counterproductive, because what you're going to do is you're going to glue this surface to this surface, like this. The next one will be a mountain fold as you look at it from the inside, so it's a mountain fold, yeah, and the next one is a valley fold. So it's valley, valley, mountain, valley. So you get this shape. So you get your first score line and a flat bit, second score line and a mountain, third score line down to here, and then you come to the flat. Okay, so now we've done that, what we need to do is glue it. So Dave left the lid off your glue, so who knows what's going to happen. So what I did was I glued this here, so I can see that you might not be able to see that, so I'm going to put my ruler there. That's where roughly where my fold score line comes to. So I'm going to glue up to that edge there, and across that crease there, just in the crease as well, because that just strengthens that creasing. And then wiggly, squiggly, write your name, whatever you want to do. Don't get that over there, Dave. Just on that bit, and then you're going to fold this over like this and just press it down. Okay, if you get any oozing, wipe it up with your finger. Okay, and then you can just get in there and press that bit down now. Okay, so we've done that bit, and now what we want to do is, now we're looking at it, so this is again the inside, and now what we want to do is we want to glue this bit to here. So we're going to fold it closed now, and we're going to put glue on this back spiny bit. So we're on the outside of it this time now. Again, wiggly glue all the way up the spine, try and stay actually on the spine, Dave, rather than on the mat. And then fold that open again and fold that down. So basically all we've done is we've just reinforced our spine, so we've got a nice firm spine for when we start making holes in it. It's not just going to fall apart, and then we can just fold that over again and make sure that that's all nice and closed down. Now what you will get is you'll get this slight edge. Now that is great if you're doing it with a file folder, because it's not a perfect, it's not accurately half an inch. If you're using a file folder, it's like a 16th of an inch bigger than half an inch. But that bit there is perfect, because that helps with the stop for when you put your card in, it stops it from going like all the way through. So you kind of get this butt stop, and that way then this back part of your journal doesn't stick beyond the spine of the other journal, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, answers on a postcard. So this is back to the front. So this is the front. So this is the front with the folded smooth crease, and this is the back with the slight step on it. Okay, so this time we're going to have it this way round, because remember it's going to go in the back of here. So this is the front, and that's going to tuck into the here. So it's going to be this way round, just like the green one. So then what we're going to do is we're going to work on the back part. So this is the back part, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of card, and we're going to cut this down to being the same height. So we're going to make sure that it's the same height, which it is, because we cut it all down to the same size. Same height, but this time you're going to cut it at 4.5. Okay. So in there we go to 4.5. Cut that off. Like I say, this is only a 12-inch thing, so it doesn't cut all the way down to the bottom edge here. So let's just finish that off. You could use a pair of scissors to do that. So then you've got to decide, do you want the text on the inside or the outside? I don't care. I'm going to have it probably on the outside, because I like that kind of utilitarian thing. And what you can see here is it doesn't quite fit, and that's great, because not quite fitting means you've got that little lip to be able to get the back of, or the front of your other journal in before you commit to a cut. Okay, so make sure that is, yeah, there we go. So do you see what I mean? So if it was there, it'd be really hard to separate these two pieces, and you'd be like slipping trying to get it in. Whereas if it butts that way, you'd be able to, there's a slight gap, and you'd be able to get your other piece in like that. Much easier than trying to get it onto a blunt edge and trying to find the bit where they separate, have gone inside it, between it, either side of it, etc. So I'm going to put this in here. Now on mine, they're all different sizes, and the reason for that is I've literally used whatever was remaining from that file folder. So if this one isn't quite as wide, I didn't worry about it. If you want it to be more accurate, then go for the 4 and 5/8 front and back cover with a 4.5 inch like pocket tuck thing. Then what I did was I used the Score line I've already got on this remaining gusset. He said he used the score line wherever the score, that's the score tool. I just re-emphasised that score, and then I took this, did no measuring at all, just took this, lined it up against this one and put a line, and went across, did another line. But remember, you know what width that is, that is 4.5. You just do the same for this. If you're not using pre-scored card, just use a piece of card. Have a 3/4 of an inch front and a 3/4 of an inch back, so that means that you'd be having it cut at, it'd be a 1.5 inch wide strip. Score it down the middle at 3/4 of an inch, and then fold it over, and then you'd have this same gusset that I'm just going to repurpose. So I'm going to put that in there, and we're going to cut that off. I'm going to do the same on that one. Okay, and then I'm just going to put those together, stick them both in there, and cut that down. So I'm going to cut it down so that they are 3/4 of an inch deep. I don't know whether I'll go through all of these. Probably not, no. That one cut, that's fine. This one didn't go all the way through, so just put it back on. Put that down, there we go. So that's my bit that's going to form my pocket. Now, rather than gluing it top and bottom here, which means that you'd have to then cut quite a bit off the front in order to be able to get it to tuck in, so you're missing the join. What I did was I used the file folder bits, and I made one of these. Don't really know what these are. Folded gussets? I don't know. You heard it here first. I don't know. Somebody tell me. And then what I did was, because I wanted them chamfered, I took the folded edge so it was nearest me, and I cut it on a diagonal up to the other edge, the top edge, like that. And then I took my piece that I'm going to stick to the back cover, flipped it over, so you're flipping it over, and I'm going to glue this component to this piece. So I'm just going to glue inside here. You don't have to be accurate for this, nobody's going to see this join, so. And then just lifted it off the page and press it down, and then turn it round and do the other one. And then lift this one off the page, off the desk, not the page, Dave. And then that's it. So you've got this bit, so you've got these tabs that will flip round the side of this. Remember, this is going on the back, not on the inside. And then, so once you've got it in place, you're going to flip it over, and then you can fold these round. If it's slightly too snug and it buckles the paper like that, then just take a fraction off one of the edges, one of the top edges. I think that's a little bit too little of a fraction, Dave. And then see how it goes. Just want to make sure that when you fold it over, it doesn't buckle it. Still buckling it slightly. I think it's this edge here. Okay. Put that on there. Put that up to that. So when you push against this, that'll butt up against that little step that you've got on the back, So then that means then you can glue your tabs top and bottom. There we go, like that. Again, just want to make sure you're not buckling it, Dave. Nope, still buckling it, so I just need to cut that edge a bit. I don't want to buckle it. What you don't want is you don't want a big gapey pocket, so you want to make it... You have to cut it down a bit, it's not the end of the world. There we go, so that should be better. See, if I make mistakes, you can make mistakes, so it's absolutely fine. Remember, there is no perfection. It's your art, your space, you do you. So now I've put that in there. That now gives me that back panel. I've glued it a bit close to that edge, but never mind. That whole thing I said about having a little bit of a gap, it's not going to work on that one. That should have been butted close up to that, up to there, but you can get yours right. If I try and get this right, this is going to go wrong, isn't it? So I'm going to make a mess of this, but hey. This is not going to go right. Just bear with me a moment, folks. I might have to come back to you in a second. Okay, so I rectified it, did it off camera. So there we go. We do have that little bit of step now. So I had to butcher it. So the butcher is in town. So, and like, we've got this bit here. But, you know, I'll emphasise that. I'll make a feature of it. So now that means that we've got the back panel finished. What you now need to do is you just need to trim the front edge down, because if you think about it, this is the same width as this, and so trying to get it into the back of one of these is going to be a bit difficult, because it's going to be really, you know, tight. It's like, you know, if you cut a tag to go in a pocket and it's just too tight, it's really difficult to get in. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scalpel or scissors or whatever, and you're going to cut about 1/16 of an inch off the top and bottom of your front cover. Now the only one I didn't do this with is my front one. So the purple one, well, the lilac one, because I wanted to keep that at the front. But if you wanted to have them all interchangeable so you could change the order of them, then you do it to all of them. So you're just going to take that little bit off, which means then it should, fingers crossed, tuck into the back here. So I've left the back one with the same kind of, I think I need to cut that down a little bit more. Left the back one with the same kind of finish, because it means then I can extend it at a later date. So if I wanted to go do a spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then do a year summary, I could make another one and slip it into the back without it being, you know, something I'd then have to take the whole thing apart and add in a back piece or whatever. So although this back one won't have anything in it at the moment, it may well do in the future. So this is the front. This is the next one, then we've got this one, and then we've got this one. And remember, we've put that one on the back, 2 reasons. 1, so I could show you what I did, and 2, so that I can then add and extend my journal. I mean, you could keep going. You could do 12 of them and have one for every month of the year. You could have, you know, you could do one for each of your children or whatever. So just bit of a different concept. So now what we've done is we've made these. What you'll see me doing over the course of the next few weeks, months, I don't know how long however long it takes me, you'll see me making more things to go either in it, on it, decorate them, but you'll see other things interspersed in the meantime. So there you go, that's it. So I hope that's something you might consider giving a go of. If you do, let me know. If you think it's a good idea, let me know. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. No, sorry. And yeah, all of the other things, all of the good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already. And you know, we'll go through making some more things together. So, not really a very artistic thing today, but something a little bit different. Hopefully you'll give it a go. So obviously I'm going to be making pockets and tucks and fold out things and weird and wonderful bits to go inside them, and I'll be making my putting together my signatures to go inside, but we've made the cover, so well, the covers, and I'll probably be making them as individual things. So I'll work on one and then I'll work on another and I'll work on, and that also gives me, because I'm going to have I thought this was great for spring because it's like that kind of like lilac-y colour that you get, you know, from hyacinths and that sort of thing. I thought summer because of the green trees, all the trees are like all nice and green and lush looking. I thought autumn, I was going to use an orange, but I haven't got an orange folder that was tall enough, so I went for another autumnal colour, which is the yellow, yellow leaves, and then brown, because that's everything's brown in winter, isn't it? So so there we go. I mean, like, you know, it's brown in the UK in winter. It might be beautiful wherever you are, but it's brown in the winter in the UK. So there you go. So thanks very much for spending some time with me today. Don't forget, my name is Dash of Dave, and I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Thanks very much. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm going to go and check on Wooster now. Take care, folks. See you soon. Bye.